Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you're probably wondering, why shouldn't you go from Android 13 to Android 12 in this video? I'm going to tell you all the reasons, okay? But if you are interested to learn about Android 13 and the beta program that they have to offer and some of the features that are going to be coming up in autumn of 2022, then you should definitely download it, because it's going to include a ton of different features. It's going to include some battery improvements, some gaming improvements. It's also going to include like some security and privacy, as well as basic functions that will help you when you use your smartphone on the Google Pixel phones, right? But also it's going to be introduced to a ton more phones down the line. But the reason why I'm making this video is because I wanted to warn you and even give you a heads up, just in case you have already downloaded the Android 13 beta program onto your Pixel device, right? And right now I'm using my Google Pixel 4a, and I'll get to why I'm using the 4a and not the 6, because I'm making this video to basically help you guys out if you're like I know a lot about smartphones when it comes to the hardware and the software, but when it comes to tampering with the software and kind of like messing around with, like, unlocking the bootloader, the OEM thingy majiggy that they have on here, there's not a whole lot I know about that. I still have a lot of learning to do about that. But if you plan on downgrading from Android 13 to 12, then one thing you should know is that you should be pretty experienced, and you should do a lot of research before you do that, because I didn't do that, okay? I didn't actually go ahead and do any research before I did it. I just pretty much wanted to check out some of the latest security features that they were going to be offering for the June and maybe even the July software update. But just keep in mind, if you have the Android 13 beta program and you've downloaded it, maybe you're on version 3 by now, right? Because that's where it's at. Then I would highly recommend waiting, or not even doing that. Just keep going with the Android 13, because one of the things that I did notice about it is that there's some things that you should definitely know before you do, and that's what this video is for, because that's exactly what I essentially did. But if you're brand new to the channel, I truly appreciate you for coming through with me to chill, kick it with me. But if you're already a part of the crew, salute. So basically what happened was, I was using my Google Pixel 6 device, which is now no longer with me. It's in the you break it, I fix it shop, being fixed. Essentially what happened was, and what I'm trying to tell you guys is that if you have the Android 12 and you want to use the Android 13, go ahead and download it, right? But one of the things I would want to mention is that if you're a beginner or even intermediate, you might not want to go back like me, because that's what I did. I tried to go back, but there are some consequences to that. And so that's what I'm making this video for, because I essentially bricked my Google Pixel 6 simply by not, doing enough research. And, obviously you have to have some type of background in the way these things work, as far as like a software engineer goes, or just basic knowledge. Back in the day, I did, mess around with iPhones. I jailbroke those, and that was pretty straightforward as long as you were able to pay close attention to instruction. But for me, I didn't really actually do any research before I downgraded to the Android 13 to the Android 12. What actually happened when I actually downgraded from the Android beta to the Android 12 was that I bricked my smartphone, my Google Pixel 6. So it's actually in the shop right now being replaced. They're ordering me a brand new motherboard, because what essentially happened is that I must have fried the motherboard in the process of actually downgrading my smartphone. They weren't able to revive it with software by adding the software manually. That was something they weren't able to do. I wasn't able to do it either. I tried a few different times, and I just wasn't able to, get it to be revived. So one of the things that you might want to do is, if you have the Android 13 beta program on your smartphone right now, I would essentially just rock out with it until autumn comes, because what essentially will happen is if you don't know what you're doing, quite frankly, you will brick the phone, and that's exactly what happened with my phone. So essentially, you have when you're in that position, you're gonna basically fry your motherboard. Essentially, they're gonna if you did order your Google Pixel device through Google, it is essentially if you did sign up for a warranty, it's essentially going to be included in your purchase. So thank goodness I was covered with the warranty. And so now it's in the You Break It, I Fix It shop being repaired. They're going to order a new motherboard for my Pixel device, and they're going to swap it out with the old one. And then essentially they're going to call me in a few weeks or so. So if you don't see any contact with the Pixel devices, my phone is essentially being worked on by technicians right now. And they're just trying to get the parts in to fix it. So essentially I've lost all my photos, all of my pictures, videos, any information like files. Essentially those will no longer be RIP. But it's not the end of the world, right? But I just want to make this video right here so you can know not to downgrade from the Android beta program to the Android 12 unless you are 100% sure of what you're doing. And make sure you follow step-by-step instructions from an expert who has already done it, if that's something that you want to get into. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it. I think that the Android 13 beta was actually a lot smoother than the Android 12. It offered some really cool features, and this is just a heads up. I'm actually using my Google Pixel 4a now, and it's in the my presence, but the Google Pixel 6 is not, because of the reasons that I mentioned earlier. But just a quick heads up that you shouldn't download the Android 13 beta program unless you know what you're doing with it, and making sure that you do some research before you get into all that stuff. It's going to get a little bit funky. There's going to be a lot of step-by-step instructions. It's going to be really technical stuff that you have to do in order to download it and degrade it back to the original one. So I just want to throw that out there, that it's if you're good at following instructions and step-by-step instructions, that you could possibly do it without any harm to your device. But I through excitement and I was very hyped up about the latest software patches. I actually didn't read anything, just went straight ahead and went back, opted out of the Android 13 beta program, pressed uninstall, and essentially just by doing those two things without reading anything further, my phone is a brick now. So hopefully this video was a help to you. Make sure that if you did find it helpful that you hit the like button, show your support and appreciation as well. And I'm going to get right back with you, answer any questions that you might have about the Google Pixel 6 or the 4a. And I'm going to check you guys later. But in the meantime, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and depending on where you are, have a great night. Later, peace.